Hello, everybody. The card reveal stream is over, and it is now time to talk about the new cards. However, I hurt myself yesterday, and I'm on pain pills, and I'm a little. So I've brought a friend. This is Craven. Hey, Craven.
Hola. Yes, I am here to be the sensate one of the two. Which, I mean, in my personal opinion, is a mistake, but hey, that's your mistake to make.
So yeah, a couple highlights from the stream. If you haven't seen it yet, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything too major. It's just that I thought it was so sad that Peeler Wadelin had created two Lackey heavy decks, and the Lackey mechanic was bugged and did not work, so they had to use console commands to fix it, and he was so sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Yeah, they were like, oh man, it's bugged and broken. They actually crashed it at one point, and he had to use console commands to bring the game back up at the point where it was stopped.
Jeez.
Like, it hardcore crashed and burned. So
I don't know if that's amazing or terrible, but I'm gonna stick with amazing.
I'm gonna say it was amazing because the caster and the gamer that they got to actually play the cards, they handled it very well and they laughed their way through it. It was a very lighthearted stream, and I think they did a really good job despite the hiccups.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good way to handle it. Like if everyone starts worrying about it, it definitely brings down the mood and makes it a less enjoyable time. But it seems like it went well.
Yeah. All right, so I've got Omega Devastator put up because the very next card is the one we're going to start with talking about. I'm super I almost made a video about this next card. Just like a 1 minute thing and be like, I hate this card on principle, because it went live literally an hour after I uploaded my last card review saying, here's all the cards until the card review stream. It's like, you bastard. And then this one popped up. So let's go ahead and talk about, let me just click over here. Madame Lazul, the Priest Legendary. 3 mana, 3/2 battle cry. Discover a copy of a card in your opponent's hand. So, when you play it, you'll get this discover mechanic that has the 3 things pop up, but all 3 are cards in your opponent's hand when you play it. So it gives you that Camellia sort of look into your opponent's hand, and then you get to pick the one that you want, and you get it.
I shouldn't say it's not high impact. The chances of it being high impact, like the chances of discovering something very, very good off your opponent, at this point aren't amazing, because despite what a lot of people think, not every card in a deck needs to be, a legendary, unless that's the whole point. But, yeah. So, this is a 3 cost as well, so, third turn and on, if your opponent has played a card every turn, you've still got maybe we'll say a 4 in 27 chance of it being something amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a 3 cost. It gives you an idea what they're doing, which can really help you out. In a lot of other card games, being able to see your opponent's hand is an amazing thing. It's a thing that a lot of them do a lot. So this is kind of towards that sort of vein. Mm-hmm. I don't hate it. I would not put it in any of my decks personally.
Yeah, I think a major use for this is probably going to be you see what your opponent is trying to do, and then using this on the turn before. Maybe you're playing against a shaman that's playing a bunch of random sort of spells and stuff. So on turn 6, you play this, and you try to copy their Hagatha card, so that you can also do a Hagatha, and counter their Hagatha with your Hagatha. Things like that.
Yeah. It's, honestly, it definitely fits into this kind of priest that they seem to be going with some of the cards we've seen previously, where it's an extremely control-y priest that they're trying to push forward, an extremely scheming priest, I would almost say. But yeah, no, it's definitely I mean, it fits thematically. The card's not bad. It offers up what I believe to be not necessarily a unique, but certainly interesting take on something we've seen. Obviously,
Yeah.
the what was it called, Chameleos or something like that, back from
Yeah,
what's
like
it?
this is just a straight up better Chameleos.
Yeah. So I don't dislike it. Um, I mean, it puts a 3/2 body on the board for 3, which is not good stats. Like,
It's pretty
2
bad.
health on turn 3 is pretty bad. But
I will also say that the like the card's motif is on point. Like
yeah,
it's the fortune teller. Let me read your fortune. You get 3 cards that are in your opponent's hand,
yeah,
and like that sort of thing is like really nice for me. I like the I can't think of the word and it's driving me insane. But the sort of theme of it is like really nice.
yeah. The aesthetic.
Yeah, but that doesn't win games. It's just
No,
fun for me.
yeah. It's a nicely made card. It's definitely not my favorite card. I would definitely I would put it middle of the road, honestly, just on the aesthetic and the usefulness of it. For me personally, at least.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next card. The first card that was actually in the darn reveal stream, the Clockwork Goblin. Warrior card, 3 mana, 3/3 mech, battle cry, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. When drawn, it explodes for 5 damage. So it's a Seaphorium bomb. That was a 5 mana, 5/5, shuffle the 5 damage bomb. This is a 3 mana, 3/3. So it's sort of along the same vein, except that one was a neutral and this one is straight up just for warrior.
Yeah, but by itself, this isn't bad. Especially if they try to make this shuffle bomb mechanic a thing, and judging by later on, they probably are. But it's definitely a lot better than the Seaphorium, I think, because while the Seaphorium put a better body on board, alliteration. Honestly, I think it works better with these kind of low cost cards. Like instead of having the larger bodies on board, definitely just stuffing your opponent's deck full of these cards that they can draw, and it really it makes an opponent tentative to use card draw because they could be blowing themselves up instead of getting something useful.
Yeah, this
I mean,
is good in the early game, and it's also good in the late game when there's fewer cards left in the deck. So,
yeah,
the whole shuffle a bomb mechanic is just a good one because it's always useful. Like, this is never
yeah,
well, this is a dead card. Like, it's never
yeah,
going to be that.
yeah. And I mean, 3/3 for 3, that's very middle of the road. But with the battle cry, I think it definitely brings it up. I like the card. I'm inevitably going to be building a deck a mech warrior deck again, because I mean that's one of my favorite things to build right now. I love warrior for some reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll definitely be running this in my deck. So I like it a lot.
Just a note on the card art, we're going to start seeing this a lot more. They pointed it out in the stream, and now that I'm looking for it, I can't help but see it everywhere. A lot of the card art has to do with the villains either fulfilling their previous schemes, for Togwaggle's scheme, he's finally got his money back from Mare and the Fox, and in this one you can see that it is a Clockwork Goblin, which is Dr. Boom's thing, but in the background he's in a tomb, so he's working for Rafam right now.
Yeah.
And
yep.
I love the idea of these villains working together and showing it through the card art, which is just great.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to it's really going to help kind of tell the narrative that they've promised with this set of expansions, I should say.
Yeah, this whole year, the Year of the Dragon is going to be a story-based expansion, and I love that idea.
Yeah, so no, it's definitely turning out to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the Evil Cable Rat. 2 mana neutral, 1/1 battle cry, add a lackey to your hand. So this is, I think, the only card. They said that it was the only neutral card that was going to add a lackey, because the lackey mechanic is supposed to only be for the minions, but this one is sort of can go either way.
Yeah. I don't dislike it, honestly. Like, I mean, a 2-cost 1/1 isn't great, but the lackeys are pretty good. But my only gripe is like overall stats. You end up with 2/2 stats for 3 with a battle cry effect. Generally, the battle cry effect of one of the lackeys. Which honestly isn't great stats compared to some of the other lackeys or like lackey-based cards that we've seen so far. Like, just off the top of my head, we've got like improved morale or what was it? The Evil Miscreant was like a way better like alternative to this.
Yeah.
Yep. So while this offers up the lackey mechanic to other decks, the problem is the lackey mechanic by itself, while good, isn't good enough for what is essentially one card. Like, this is the only card, as far as we know, that will be getting lackey outside of the big, like, 4 or 5, big 5.
Yeah. I definitely agree. 3 mana 2/2 plus a battle cry isn't good enough. If we see more lackey synergy going forward, maybe this could be like, just because it gives you a lackey, it's good enough. Because so far we haven't seen a whole lot of things that give you lackeys. So if we see more lackey synergy, then maybe it's like, just because it gives you a lackey, it's good enough. But for right now,
No, not amazing at the moment.
Yeah.
Not amazing.
It is another one of those card arts, though, where it's the cable rat. So it's a rat going through the sewers of Dalaran, and it's leaving behind cables and stuff. So it's Togwaggle working with Dr. Boom now. And
I like the fact that it's apparently a giant rat, because you can see a much smaller mouse like on top of its head.
Yeah. Or it's just an even smaller mouse.
Oh god.
Because it is leaving behind cable, and it's in the sewers of Dalaran. So, like, it could be rat stallion sized, or it could be a tiny rat and a tiny mouse.
That would be interesting, but also weird, but also interesting.
It's like, we don't know. Maybe it got shrunk down by one of Dr. Boom's minimizers or something.
No, to be fair, like in some of the card art, if you look at Dr. Boom stuff, it seems like his fuse is like the thickness of rope, so...
That is fair. I mean, yeah, you can see on this one, and you can see rope and you can see the cable.
Yeah, it's like roughly the same size, so... I don't know. I'll hedge my bets and say that's probably a rodent of unusual size.
A good old rat stallion. Alright, moving on to Dr. Boom's Scheme. The 4-mana warrior spell, gain 1 armor, upgrades each turn. I'm conflicted.
Control Warrior, or I should say Armor Warrior, is pretty good. 4 mana for this card in particular, I would say is not amazing, just because it's already so easy for Warrior to get, ridiculous amounts of armor with some of these cards they have. I mean, the Dr. Boom hero gets, potentially 7 armor once every, we'll say, 4 or 5 turns.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this card is, twice as much mana as that ability, and takes 2 turns longer, realistically speaking, to get the same amount of armor.
Yeah, I was thinking, in terms of just straight up value, how long would this take to be good? And they've already valued 5 armor at 1 mana. So with 4 mana, you would have to wait 20 turns with this in your hand in order for this to be good. So on that front, it's not very good. But if we want to talk, like, late game, you just need some armor for, like, a ditch effort or a desperation play, how much armor is enough armor? And I would say probably around 8 or 9 minimum. And even so, you'd have to hold this in your hand for 9 mana, like 9 turns, minimum in order for that to be a good desperation play, and that's still too slow.
Yeah, no. So it's an okay card, but I definitely could see that its mana cost getting dropped down to like 3 or even like 2 mana would make this card really good.
Yeah, they have suggested maybe like cheating it out in other ways, like having the armor doubled somehow, or having your turns, like if you get an extra turn somehow, like with Temporis, maybe you could try to cheat in some extra points, but it's straight up not enough.
Yeah, no, it's not very good. It's definitely lower end. Like, I probably wouldn't put it in. I mean, it is a common, and you can carry 2 of them, which is an important point to make. But yeah, the amount of time spent with a card just sitting in your hand against, like, how much it costs and how much armor is worth, yeah, I would definitely say it's on the lower end of cards.
Yeah. It's like, if you can get it to be worth more than 10 or 20, then great. Like, if you are, like, at the point where you're both out of cards completely and you're dragging it out to the very end late game and you've been holding onto this for that long and you're just hoping to out-survive your opponent, then it can work. But hinging on that for victory is just icky.
Yeah, no. Especially when it's like, you take into account that the kind of deck that this would go into would be an already armor-heavy deck. And, like, the amount of armor that they end up getting is already disgusting. Like,
yeah.
It's not uncommon to see warriors go into the, 30s of armor.
Mm-hmm.
So...
yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Maybe, but very unlikely.
Yeah. Next up, my favorite card! This is by far my favorite card of the set.
Oh, yeah. Blastmaster Boom, Warrior Legendary 7 mana 7/7. We got Dr. Boom back. Dr. 7 is back with Battlecry. Summon 2 1/1 Boombots for each bomb in your opponent's deck.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This bomb mechanic that they're giving us. That's scary. Like Dr. Boom back in the day, Dr. 7, 7 mana 7/7, summon 2 Boombots. Okay, that was already an instantly good card. Like, that was an almost guarantee in every deck back when it was available.
Yeah.
Like, it was just that good. So now you have a Dr. Boom who potentially, not only is he working towards this, like, this bomb mechanic that they've given us, as I said, with the Clockwork Goblin and with the Seaphorium, though I'll never play that goddamn card, it's... you could flood your board with Boombots, like, instantly. And that's not hard. That's like 3 bombs in your opponent's deck.
Yeah. I mean, heck, you play 2 Clockwork Goblins, you've got 6, like, you've got almost a full board. Because it's 2 1/1 Boombots for each. So you put in 2, you get 4. So that's...
yeah. Yeah. It's already ridiculous. Like, I am super excited for this card. Like, I don't know. Like, this is one of those cards where if I don't instantly draw it, I'm instantly crafting it.
Yeah, pretty much. I've saved up enough dust to craft 1 legendary. And now that we know that Baku and Gen are being relegated to wild early, I won't be crafting them. So...
suck shit to everyone who built decks based around them. I mean, what?
I mean, you do get free dust for having them, but yeah. Like, they were so meta-defining they had to throw them in wild, so I understand, but it's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing about this card is in the background, the little bomb dudes with little flying helicopters. It's so damn cute.
Yeah.
Juxtaposed between Dr. Doom.
Yeah. I'm also digging his new look, by the way. Like, I'm digging the, like, face mask that he's got going.
Yeah, and his little, like, mech suit sort of thing. It's very Marvel. It really is. It's very DC. Yeah. It's very superhero, supervillain. And it's nice. I like it.
Alright. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, on to the next one. The Wrench Caliber. Warrior weapon, 4 mana, 3/2. After your hero attacks, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck.
Keep in mind, you can have 2 of these.
You can have 2 of these. It's not a legendary. So it's the War Axe stats, but instead of 2, instead of 3, it's 4. But you have the added chance to do an additional 10 damage from the bombs. Plus, you combine that with Dr. 7 that we just talked about. Like, you only need one of these to have those 4 boombots. And then you have the 3 mana. So you go 3 mana Clockwork Goblin, 4 mana Wrench Caliber, you run it into something. And then on turn 5, you run it into another thing, you play your other Clockwork Goblin. You're set to destroy the board with Dr. 7.
Well, not only that, but you've basically killed your opponent. Like, that's 20 points of damage now sitting in their deck waiting. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, a counter argument to that would be the same thing with, like, the Darkness, which didn't work. But, which, like, you know, it's a little comparable. But with Dr. 7 out there to, like, have some extra oomph to it, I think it pushes it way past Darkness.
With the Darkness, it was like you had to get them to, you had to draw these 3 specific cards and then get the Darkness. With this, it's just absolutely fill your opponent's, deck with these bombs, and I mean, there is no limit to how many bombs you can throw in there outside of, the limit to the cards you can have in your deck. And considering we've already got 2 cards, for Warrior that are very supportive of this bomb, like this bomb build that they're going with, I can only assume there's going to be more. Hell, I'm looking forward to seeing if they do some more cards like Blastmaster Boom, who do something based on the number of bombs in your opponent's deck.
Yeah, it feels to me very much like the fact that Hakkar started off as a meme and then became meta gave them all of these really neat ideas, but it also gave them, like, incentive to do things to counter it and also make those fun. Because, like, right now, Hakkar is meta, and the counters are Prince Liam, which is amazing to me, because I love Prince Liam, the random legendary hero thing. It's a great thing, and I never thought that he was going to be good. So now we've got this with the C4 and bombs, and the counter is actually still the same, and we're getting arch-villain Rafaam.
Yeah.
So villains can counter each other, but what are the heroes going to do, And I think that's just so cool.
Yep. So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to a lot of it. I definitely like Wrench Caliber. Like, I mean, it's just, it fits into this really, like, extremely niche deck that I want to build, so I like it.
Yeah. It does also, like, it also sort of pinpoints why War Axe just doesn't work, because it's 3 mana 3/2 instead of being 2 mana. Like, at 2 mana it was so good you put it in any warrior deck, but at 3 mana it just straight up killed it. But at 4 mana, even though it has that extra effect, and that's what makes it playable. Without it, it's not.
Oh yeah, no. If it didn't have that if it didn't have the bomb effect, the potential for 5 extra damage, 10 extra damage, like, this card would be terrible. But because it's there, this card is, I would definitely, I'm probably overhyping it, honestly. Like, I don't want people to think that I think that this is like an amazing deck-defining card, but it's definitely proof that this concept that they have created with this, like, stuff your opponent's deck with bombs kind of thing is gonna be a thing, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those cards where it's good, but don't get us wrong, it's just good enough, and that's why it's good. Because, like, even if this were 4 mana 3/2, after your hero attacks, summon a Boombot, like, that's not good enough. That's not even that. Like, that's just like, oh, this is kind of sad. I wish it was this other thing, but because it's this, it works. Alright, moving on to the next card, we've got Heist Baron Togwoggle. 6 mana 5/5 battle cry. If you control a lackey, choose a fantastic treasure. And it's confirmed the fantastic treasure is from Kobolds and Catacombs Maren the Fox treasure chest treasure.
Wait, really? So it is the stuff out of Maren's?
Yeah, it is, and you get to choose it. It's not a random one. You get to pick which fantastic treasure you want.
I like that, actually.
I think it's great. And with Togwaggle's scheme, you can shuffle more into your deck.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
really like this idea. Like, Togwaggle's scheme opens up so many different ideas, and Heist Bear and Togwaggle is just sort of fun, and more fun than old Togwaggle, because it's also just good. Like, the treasures are always good, and even when you get them, you're like, oh, I got the goblet and I don't want the goblet, or oh, I got the draw 3 and my deck's almost out. I don't really care what I draw. The ability to choose it is so major because you can shift it to whatever you want to do, and all the treasures are 3 cost. So at max mana you could do this. In fact, at max mana you could play a lackey that you created previously, play this, get the treasure, and play the treasure all in one turn. That's a great 10 mana play.
I mean, alternatively, you could play the lackey, play Heist Bear and Togwaggle, and then you could honestly just throw down 2 of Togwaggle's scheme, and suddenly you have 20 Heist Bear and Togwaggles in your deck.
Yeah, although the caveat with that would be that you'd need more lackeys, so you would probably do 1 on Heist Baron and 1 on the lackey. Although maybe you wouldn't want to do it on the lackey itself. Maybe you'd want to do it on like the Evil Miscreant or something. Because just the lackey on its own, I don't know that you want like 10 of those in your deck.
Yeah.
But the sky's the limit on the potential with this one, and I really like that. And I like it for Rogue, too, because Rogue is where you want to do this sort of thing. The fact that it's in Priest is the thing that's bothering me so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Rogue is where it fits. Miracle Priest is dumb. I hate it.
Okay, calm down. You've already mentioned how much you hate it. Fish member.
But I like Heist Bear and Togwaggle.
Yeah.
Alright, next. The Hench Clan Burglar Rogue Pirate, 4 mana, 4/3, battle cry, discover a spell from another class. They talked about this one on the stream too, that the discover a thing from your opponent's class was fun right up until you get mirror matches, or you get matches against the same class as you, where it immediately stops being fun. So they were like, from here on out, we're not going to change previous things, but from here on out, it's not going to be from your opponent's class, it's going to be from another class, so you can get a wider range of cool things from it, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, it certainly makes it I'll admit, it certainly makes it slightly more skeptic, just because, like, when you're fighting someone, you can, after a while, you can kind of tell what the gimmick of their deck is and what you're probably going to be fighting. But this certainly makes it a lot more random. Mm-hmm. Like, it opens up the potential of you getting something amazing, or, you know, something that's absolute garbo.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
So, but the change in particular, the from another class versus from your opponent's class, is certainly an important distinction. I don't actually like this card.
You think it's too weak?
I don't like the 4 mana 4/3. I would have been happier with like a 3 mana 3/3.
Hmm.
Or even like, I hate high attack, low health cards, like, on principle.
I do think it works a little bit better with Pirate synergy, but generally, yeah.
Hang on.
Pirate Rogue has been a thing going on for a little while, so I definitely think that this might find a place in Pirate Rogue, although Pirate Rogue doesn't tend to use spells from a different class all too often. It definitely feels like this is trying to be in 2 different things. It's trying to be in a test Rogue, which Peter Whalen says is one of his biggest regrets that thing never caught on, because it's one of his favorite ideas. And Pirate Rogue, which probably doesn't want this. So it's sort of a toss-up. Which one would you put it in? Honestly, probably neither. But that's if you have like the better cards. Since this is a common, I tend to give commons a little bit more leeway in the mechanics department, simply because not everybody has all the cards for a Test Greymane Rogue or a Pirate Rogue. So if you don't
Yeah.
have all the cards for it, this is a great common card that you can throw in there and then throw out later when you get the thing that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I would definitely say it's a middle of the road, maybe slightly on the low side for me personally. I'm also not digging that haircut, if I'm totally honest. That reminds me a little bit too much of a young Craven, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where he is in the background, because he could be in like the Dalaran, like the Violet Hold, or he could be in Ahn'Qiraj, but I can't imagine why he would even be there.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's doing here. It's a bit weird.
I think he might be trying to steal from the Dalaran vault, like in the
Yeah, that sounds more reasonable.
yeah, because he is a burglar. That makes more sense. All right, are you
All
ready
right.
to go on to the next card?
Yes.
The Unidentified Contract. Rogue spell, 6 mana, destroy a minion, gains a bonus effect in your hand. So this is the bonus effect mechanic that's like every mechanic that was in a previous expansion that has the villains, they are getting a one-of card, like the Omega mechanic, like the Forbidden mechanic, and like this one, which is the gain the bonus effect mechanic. We're only getting one of, so this is the only one that's going to be like that in this expansion.
Yeah.
And I have the other things that it can be pulled up over here.
Oh, thank God, I'm like aggressively like Googling that on the side here.
Yeah, so we have destroy a minion, deal its damage to adjacent minions, summon a 1/1 assassin with poisonous and stealth, add 2 coins to your hand, and add a copy of the destroyed minion to your hand.
Do you get to choose?
Yeah, it's a kill card. You destroy a minion and then whatever effect. No, but you don't get to choose the effect. It happens when you get it into your hand, much like the potion. Or
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I get you now. Some of those I would be a lot more happy getting than others. Just straight off the top, like. How much is it? Kind of seems like it's assassinate plus a bit. Like it's a slightly more interesting assassinate.
Mhm.
The problem is like I don't know if people run assassinate anymore.
It's one of those kill cards that you play if you don't have any other good kill cards. Which, to be fair, this being at the beginning of the expansion, a lot of those kill cards have been taken away, and you're left with assassinate.
Yeah, so this is probably like a good alternative to assassinate, just because it has that slight bit of extra effectiveness. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I haven't ran assassinate for a very long time.
Yeah, it very much feels to me like the warrior version of this. That was 6 mana, gain 5 armor plus the additional effect. And
Yeah.
like if you get the right effect for what you're doing, you're very happy. But if you don't, then it's practically useless. Like if you
Yeah.
gain 5 armor and get a 5/2 weapon and you have 1 health left, you're like, well, great. The weapon part of that is completely trash, and I'm spending 6 mana for the 5 armor.
Yeah. No, it's not great. Like, it's just a little too random for me to comfortably say it's good, but I would definitely say that there is at least maybe a 50-50 chance of this card being good, maybe 60%, just because... Sorry, indigestion.
Mhm.
I like the effect of it. Does it say kill both cards on the sides?
It just deals the damage of the minion that you kill to both sides.
Okay. That's still potentially good, because generally you would use this to take out something relatively, like, threatening, and, I mean, threatening in Hearthstone generally means high stats as a rule of thumb
Mhm.
outside of like, you know, low cost card or low stat cards with amazing effects.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to use that effect to kill Caligos per se, but you would definitely want to
Yeah.
use it to kill Archvillain Rafam.
Yeah. So, I don't mind that one. I'm not against the one that lets you essentially steal a copy of it because I mean that's not terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's assassinate plus steal the card, and I mean you get to pick what you steal, so you know you can pick and choose. It's not like it's random. Coughs in Sylvanas.
Yeah.
And I mean Sylvanas was already a good card, although to be fair, you then have to play the card probably.
Yeah.
But that one's not terrible. The assassin, I mean, can be dealt with relatively easy by like random damage, but that's the kind of one where I'm on the middle ground with it, where I don't immediately like that one, but I don't dislike it. So
Yeah, like Poisonous and Stealth is powerful. Like any random thing can get rid of it, but if you can get it off, it's 2 assassinates in 1, which is pretty nice.
yeah. So I'll give it a. I'll say it's okay. It's an okay card. It is an epic, like, so, you know, it's like 400 dust to craft, so, I would definitely say it is essentially an upgraded assassinate.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that this one is pretty good. I think that all of the effects, like they add 2 coins to your hand, deal the damage to the adjacent minions, it's all things that Rogue wants to do. And thinking about it in terms of actually the secrets, I think this is an upgraded idea from the secrets. Because the secrets
Yes.
all sort of did the same sort of thing, and they were all low cost, but depending on, like, the big problem with them was that there were only 3 of them, so, you know, you could usually guess which one it is given the like situation. This one,
Yeah.
your opponent has no chance to guess. They don't even know that you have it. You just play it and you get that bonus effect. Granted, you can't choose the bonus effect, but all of them have their uses, especially in Rogue, where, you know, with coins, you can use coins in Rogue all the time. With a poisonous thing, you can use that too. With dealing damage to adjacent minions, it's great removal, and it's almost a good board clear, which Rogue doesn't have a whole lot of good board clear. Casting 2 or 3 kill cards in one turn is something that only Miracle Rogues in the past could do. This one gives you a little bit more agency as a rogue to do that sort of thing, but it is a little random, which, like, Rogue can do, but you might be a little uncomfortable with it being the wrong thing at the wrong time. So I think it's one we have to wait and see on. Is it going to be like the 6 mana warrior thing, or is it going to be like the priest potion that was just always good?
Yeah. I'll say this much for it. It has more potential to be good than it has potential to be bad. And that's how I'm looking at it so far.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to the next card. The Traveling Healer. 4 mana, 3/2, Divine Shield, Battle Cry, restore 3 health. This one, a funny thing, when they were going over the cards at the very end of the stream, Peter Whalen, when it came up to this one, Peter Whalen went, "Yep, that's a card." And that was it. They just moved on from there. I thought that was so funny.
I mean, I feel like very much the same way with it. Like,
it's like,
I
yeah, it's pretty garbage, but if you are hurting for some health, like, and you don't have anything else,
yeah, like this is the kind of card that I would expect to see like new players using, like for the first, like, you know, the first time. I don't want to say the first time you played, but for that first kind of stint where you play Hearthstone, where like you don't really know what's good, and you see like healing, and you see like the effects, and you go, "Oh, this card must be really good." It's like, it's not good. It's not good at all. Doesn't matter how many effects it has. That's not worth it.
Yeah, the cost for stats are garbo. It really depends on how much you value Divine Shield and how much you value restoring 3 health, which isn't much. I guess in like a Divine Shield Paladin deck in Wild, this could see a tiny amount of play, but there's so many better cards.
Yeah. Like, I mean, even in my Divine Shield deck, and I mean, you've seen exactly how that thing works a million times, I probably wouldn't run this card.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it.
And like Peter Whalen said, yep, that's a card. Moving on.
Now let's get on to something more interesting.
Khadgar! Mage Legendary. 2 mana, 2/2. Your cards that summon minions summon twice as many.
This is interesting. Yep. Now, there's some interesting wording in there, because does that mean that if you... So, say a card says, like, summon 2 random 4 costs, it would summon 4 random 4 costs, yeah? That's what it's talking about?
It was clarified in the stream. What it'll do is it'll actually create a copy of the minion. So it won't summon 4 random, it'll summon the 2 random that the thing says, and then it'll summon a copy of those 2. So if your thing says summon a random minion, it'll summon 2 of that random minion. It won't summon 2 random minions.
Okay. 2 cost, 2/2. I can only assume that there's going to be something along those lines that's very big later on. Coughs in the next card.
Well, going backwards, we've already seen a couple of cards like that, like the summon a certain number of cost minions, and then it's upgraded by your spell power. We have that card. I think that's the Frozen Throne card, though, so I think it might be going into Wild. Yeah. I can't remember.
A lot of those cards are going into Wild now.
Throne. But, yeah, there are plenty of things that are like summon a random minion. Like, even the Shrieking Shroom from Ungoro was summon on every turn. And then the Witchwood Crow, I believe we're keeping the Witchwood Crow, which was every time you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. This comboed with it will summon 2 with every spell you cast. So, go ahead.
My only thought with this one is that it is only good if you can combo on turn. Like you have to drop this and then immediately drop the second card, because like he's a 2/2. He's not staying on board for any significant amount of time.
Yeah, and by that same token, he is statted appropriately for his cost. Like he's a 2 mana, so he's designed to be comboed in, and he's at a good stat to combo in with just about anything.
It's just that with card text like that, the chances of him being left on board are astronomically low, and people who do that need to sit down.
Yeah, I mean, even on turn 3, you could play this and mirror image and get 4 mirror images. Like, that's not a great way to use Khadgar, but it is a way that you could use Khadgar.
Yeah.
If you absolutely needed 4 2-mana taunts.
And I think that is a good point for us to move on to the next card, because...
The Power of Creation, 8-mana spell. Discovered a 6-cost minion, summon 2 copies of it. This one was used on stream, and it summoned 4 Sunwalkers. The 4/5 with Taunt and Divine Shield.
Yeah. Listen, like, 10 mana for 4 6/6s? Or for 4 6 costs, sorry?
Yeah.
I'll pay 10 mana for 26 mana worth of shit, sure.
Yeah. 6 cost is a very dangerous, costing card, because there are a lot of bad ones, but there are some good ones.
I mean, even, like to be fair, you could get, Oblivitron, which, I mean, getting 4 Oblivitrons would suck. Mm. But at the same time, you could get, Togwaggle, and even though, he's a 5/5, getting 4 5/5s isn't bad for 10 mana.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on how the rest of the reveal goes and what we get, specifically in that 6 cost range, I don't dislike this. I mean, hell, like, think of the combo you could do with, like, God forbid, Kaligos, this card, and, like, Khadgar. Like, can you imagine, like, getting Power of Creation off for free?
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty cool. I definitely think we need to wait and see with this one, but regardless of whether or not we get some bad 6 costs or not, this one's definitely going in my Randomonium Mage. I make a Randomonium Mage every expansion, and this is definitely going in it. Whether or not I even have Khadgar.
Yeah. Yeah. But those 2 cards both belong in that deck, because that's just, like, those are just staples for that playstyle. And, like, this is just good.
Yeah, creating a Dalaran Mage with, like, Dalaran Mage, Kaligos, Malygos, Power of Creation,
Ronan, Khadgar.
Yeah, Ronan, Khadgar. It would be so much fun and so flavorful. I wouldn't care
Jaina.
whether I won or lost. Jaina's rotating out, unfortunately, but yeah.
I mean, so is, like, Ronan, but, I mean, Ronan's out, but listen, if you're making a Dalaran Mage, you have to go wild, dude. Like...
I think there's plenty of things in Standard that you could use, but you could go wild and go Ronan. But yeah, it's definitely a cool card, and I like it.
Yeah.
Let me just check how many more we have. Oh, there's only one more.
We've only got one more.
The Messenger Raven, 3 mana, 3/2 beast, battlecry, discover a mage minion.
I like this card. It's not bad. They're definitely leaning more towards a minion. Like, they seem to have kind of 2 themes going for mage right now. It's either like a minion-based mage or it's a big spell mage. But with things like Kaligos and Power of Creation and Khadgar, they seem to be kind of merging together almost in a middle ground, where we're going to be seeing, like, a big spell minion mage?
I think it's because Frostless Jaina is going away and everything that goes around with her. There is a big sort of power vacuum with Mage, and they're trying to sort of reconstruct what Mage is with this expansion, because everything that we know about Mage right now is going away. Big Spell Mage with the dragons are going away. Frostless Jaina is going away. So Mage right now practically has no identity at all. So they're free to do whatever they want. And I think having a spell power mage with minions, like, yeah, it's crashing the 2 ideals together, and we'll have to see what happens, whether just spell power mage or just minion mage comes out on top, or the hybrid actually ends up working. But regardless, I like the idea that they're trying to do both, and they're trying to sort of recreate mage.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they're definitely, like, trying to fill that vacuum instead of just, like piddling about with it. Like, they're actually trying to, you know, reinvent mage in a way.
Yeah, I'm glad they're trying to do it in a way that harkens back to previous things, and not trying to go, hey, mage is completely destroyed, let's create an entirely new thing just for mage, like they did with like the tiger druid and feral druid. It's like, I'm glad they're not trying to do that. It's like, here's a completely new archetype just for mage, because mage has no archetype. It's like, no.
We just killed Jade, time for this.
It's like, it just never, ever works. And so, I'm glad that they're not trying to do that.
We've spoken more about mage than the actual card.
Well, I mean, 3 mana, 3/2 beast, battlecry, discover a mage minion. The stats are meh. It really depends entirely on what you get from mage minion, because mage doesn't care about beasts. Like a 3 mana mage minion, mage already has a whole lot of spells and stuff that fills the 3 mana slot. So you would play this not on turn 3 unless you had nothing else to do and you are banking on finding that mage minion. It is good that it's a discover a mage minion, so you get your choice. But otherwise, it's just sort of an okay card that you probably wouldn't play on curve. So there's not a whole lot to say about the card in question, but it does bring up a lot of things to talk about with mage.
So I do like the fact that you can see Dalaran kind of like in the background of the card art. I think that's neat.
what I think is really interesting is that I believe that missive he has in his hand looks a whole lot like the unidentified contract. So I think we might have a traitor in Dalaran.
I'm gonna go with a no on that one. Like,
You don't think so?
That's a bit of a stretch.
I don't know. They're pushing not just having the straightforward story, but also having the sort of hidden story. And we have 5 villains and 4 heroes, and we don't have faces to go with the Dalaran heroes. It's just like for Mage, we're getting Khadgar and Kalecgos. But what are we getting for the others? What are we going to get for Druid? If one of them is a sort of hybrid where they want to use some of the mechanics out of the villain set, or if it's something that's like that is trying to trying to get minions from other classes, I think that could be setting up for one of one of the heroes to be a sort of back and forth, or it could just as easily be something like them sending the missives down to the Undercity of Dalaran, because that's where all the rogues and stuff hang out anyway.
Yeah, no, it could be. I don't know. It's just like if we're really gonna like analyze it that hard, like you can see like in the unidentified scroll, you've obviously got that kind of like mystical like stamp, which I mean that makes sense. Like it's Dalaran. Just to be sure, is that actually Dalaran in the background? Yeah, it kind of looks like the underground of Dalaran. I don't know, because it's got that sort of like leather binding around the center, and like if you look close enough in the messenger raven, you can kind of see that that's missing. Like, not only that, but it definitely seems like the unidentified contract is a lot thicker. Like whatever it's written on is a lot thicker than the paper that the messenger raven is carrying.
It could be.
Like that almost looks like it's written on leather. Yeah. It's like the problem is that is very much 2 different artists. Like you can see the difference in the 2 artists there.
Yeah.
So
I like either way. We'll just have to wait to see. Like at the end of the day, it's just a messenger raven. It could be any message. So
yeah, but. Yeah. What I do find interesting, actually, is the eyes of the messenger raven, because that's very much not what the eyes of a raven look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is too intelligent. So, I think it's considering it's Dalaran, it's almost certainly either, like, Polymorph, a familiar, or Khadgar himself.
Could be. I don't think that Khadgar is a messenger raven, though.
I mean... It is a raven with a message, and Khadgar has been known to deliver his messages by hand.
He's also been known to use a crystal ball.
He's also known to use a crystal elemental, so you're right. Khadgar has been known to do a lot of things.
Khadgar's weird. Khadgar's a weird guy.
Yeah, no, he's an interesting fellow, alright. But yeah, so I don't know. I think final thoughts on the card is, yep, that's a card.
Yeah. It depends on more mage minions we'll get, because we've seen only the legendaries, really. So,
yeah,
we gotta wait and see. Alright, it is time for the quick fire rapid review, so I'm going to very quickly do my thumbs, and we'll just like go as fast as we possibly can. So, Madame Lazul, I'm going to say maybe. She's alright, the theme is good, but honestly, she's not very impactful. She's not very important. It's just sort of but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. Dunno. Clockwork Goblin, I'm going to say thumbs up. Yes, I think it's a great card. I think it's a great idea. Even if the Shuffle a Bomb thing doesn't end up working, a 3-mana 3/3 is just plain fine. So next, the Evil Cable Rat, I'm going to say maybe. It depends entirely on how much you care about the lackey mechanic. So we'll have to see on that one, but chances are it's probably not going to be strong enough. Next, Dr. Boom's Scheme. I'm also going to say maybe. I personally am not very enthusiastic about it. I don't think it's nearly strong enough, and I think the value is crap. But if we are going for a sort of slow, drag out the game sort of Dr. Boom, where you are waiting for those bombs to hatch and you're just trying to survive until those bombs come out, then maybe this could see a sort of control-y sort of Dr. Boom thing where all of your damage comes from the bombs and you're just trying to survive, in which case this card will be useful. Next, Blastmaster Boom. Yes, it is a great card. It's a great idea, and he's just really cool. It's great. I think he's going to be played. Dr. 7 is back. Next, the Wrench Caliber. I'm going to say yes. Whether or not you actually think the bomb thing is going to work, putting 10 damage into your opponent's deck while also dealing 6 damage yourself, it's just plain good. And we're like, Warrior famously doesn't have a problem with running their face into things. Next, Heist Baron Togwaggle. I'm going to say maybe. The ability to choose the Fantastic Treasure is amazing, but there's not a whole lot of ways to get lackeys out right now, and it is very expensive, and the actual body of it itself is not very impressive. It's all about that treasure, and it's all about getting that treasure off. So we'll have to wait and see. Next, Hench Clan Burglar. I'm going to say no. It's trying to be in 2 different decks, and that famously doesn't work very well. It's a classic common card that you're going to toss out for anything else as soon as you get that other thing. Next, the Unidentified Contract. I'm going to say maybe. It depends entirely on the situation. You just have to wait and see. And maybe it'll be good enough that it's good in any deck with Rogue, or it's going to be too niche and it's going to have to get thrown out. So we'll just have to wait and see. Next, Traveling Healer. No, it's a joke. It's just a joke of a card without a punchline. It's not very good at all. Next, Khadgar. I'm going to say yes. There's a lot of cards that already exist that can take advantage of this. There's a lot of cards coming out that are going to be able to take advantage of this. I think that a Randomonium mage, or really just any sort of mage that wants to fill a board, a minion heavy mage is going to want this. A spell heavy mage that is trying to make minions is going to want this. I think it's just going to be good. Next, the Power of Creation. I'm also going to say yes. It is a little too expensive for its actual ability on its own, but Mage famously is able to get discounts on spells, or able to get spells out for free, especially with Caligos and stuff. They can get the effect to go off big with Khadgar, and because it's not a legendary, you can put 2 of in your deck, and you can probably get out more than once, which is pretty good. Next, Messenger Raven. I'm going to say maybe. It depends entirely on how good the future mage minions are, and that will decide whether or not this card sees any play whatsoever. It's very much like the cat, where if cat is good, if the deck that cat's in is good, then it's good. If the deck that the cat in is bad, it's bad. Last time cat was good. This time maybe bird's bad. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Any closing words, Craven?
Nope. That about sums me up.
All right. Catch you guys later. Goodbye, everybody.